Welcome to PM Movie Recaps. Today's pick is a action and crime of 2018, Unstoppable. If you're ready, let's enjoy the video. A man named Dong Li and his friend Chung Suk work at fish delivery service traders in the market. But suddenly there's a riot there, because one of the sellers hasn't paid the maintenance fee to Boss Kang. Boss Kang then pushes the seller to the ground. He even threatened him to pay immediately if he didn't want to be kicked out of the market. And it turns out that Boss Kang is Dong Li's boss. At that time, Dong Li got a call from his best friend named Mr. Park and asked him to meet. Mr. Park and his business partners intend to offer Dong Li a king crab investment business. Chunsik forbids it, because Dong Li always gets scams in the investment business. But after seeing the goods are quite good, Dong Li and Chunsik accept the business offer. On the other hand, we are introduced to a woman named Ji-Soo. Ji-Soo is seen giving breakfast to Grandpa. Ji-Soo is Dong Li's wife who works in a nursing home. Ji-Soo also works at a cafe to earn extra income, due to help Dong Li pay his debts. On Ji-Soo's journey with Dong Li tells about the investment of king crabs in his wife. But Ji-Soo is angry because Dong Li always accepts investments that end up being fraudulent. So that makes Ji-Soo have to work in two places to pay off Dong Li's debt. This section shows a man being persecuted by a group led by Kathy. Kathy is a traveling banker and he also runs a women's trading business. Because the man can't pay his debt to Kathy plans to kill him and pay the debt with the man's death insurance. At that time, his daughter came who had just come home from work. Kathy is attracted by the beauty of the woman. Then Kathy decided to take it with the aim of selling it. On the way, Kathy's driver accidentally hit Dong Li's car. Dong Li then got down and checked the damage to his car. Then Dong Li also ordered Kathy's driver out to make an accident report. But Kathy's driver doesn't want to go out and he invites Dong Li to make peace. He even threw money at Dong Li. Ji-Soo, who saw that, did not accept and immediately scolded the driver Kathy. However, Kathy was attracted by Ji-Soo's beauty. Kathy then gets down and scolds the driver for apologizing to Dong Li. The next day Dong Li goes to Boss Kang to ask for his unpaid salary from Boss Kang. Boss Kang gives Dong Li salary, but only half of it. When at the food shop, Chunsik tells his complaint, because the money that has been used to invest in king crabs. And Chunsik also thinks that they are being cheated again. But Dong Li denied it, because Dong Li had known Mr. Parks. In their conversation, suddenly Mr. Park called Dong Li. Mr. Park said the boat carrying the king crab was being detained by authorities in China because it had passed through Chinese territory. Hearing this, Dong Li felt uneasy and thought he had been cheated and was at a loss as to what to say to his wife. At night, Dong Li took Ji-Soo to a restaurant to celebrate Ji-Soo's birthday. In their conversation, Ji-Soo said that Ji-Soo wanted to divorce her so that all the properties owned by them were not confiscated by the bank. Of course Dong Li turned it down and he also said that he had invested $100,000 in king crabs from the loan proceeds. Hearing this, Ji-Soo became angry because her previous debt had not been paid off. Ji-Soo then left Dong Li while Dong Li prepared a birthday cake for Ji-Soo. Ji-Soo, who had arrived home, felt sorry for Dong Li. Then Ji-Soo sent Dong Li a message to tell Dong Li to go home immediately. When Ji-Soo was waiting for Dong Li to come home, suddenly a mysterious man came and kidnapped Ji-Soo. Dong Li, who had just arrived home, immediately saw the condition of the room, which was already a mess. Dong Li thought that something had happened to Ji-Soo. Dong Li immediately reported to the police. He even showed a CCTV footage. But at the time of the incident it turned out that the CCTV did not record it because it had been damaged by the kidnapper. When leaving the police station, Dong Li suddenly received a call saying that Ji-Soo was in his hands. He even threatened to kill Ji-Soo if Dong Li wanted to report it to the police again. It turns out that the kidnapper is Kathy. Then Kathy told Dong Li to go and meet at the cafe. After arriving, Dong Li went straight to the table ordered by Kathy. But Kathy is not there. After a long wait, suddenly Kathy called and told Dong Li to open the bag in front of him. It turned out that the bag contained quite a lot of money. Kathy said, if that was the price of Ji-Soo she would buy, and she couldn't come because Dong Li brought friends there. During Dong Li's telephone conversation, Dong Li was surprised and immediately looked around. Dong Li saw a man in a suit get into a suspicious car. Dong Li assumed it was the kidnapper. Then Dong Li told Chunsik to immediately chase him. But when he checked his phone, it was not the kidnapper. Dong Li then handed over the money to the police as evidence. Dong Li saw photos of people who had disappeared there. After seeing that, Dong Li assumed that he couldn't expect much from the police. Dong Li felt the police performance was very long and slow. Dong Li decided to find Ji-Soo with his own hands. Because he needs operational money to find Ji-Soo, Dong Li immediately collects his salary again from Kang's boss. But Boss Kang doesn't give him, and Boss Kang orders his men to get rid of Dong Li. Dong Li coldly then beat all of Boss Kang's men. Finally Boss Kang was scared and immediately gave all Dong Li's salary. After getting the money, Dong Li and Chunsik go to a detective named Burr. Burr started to carry out his duties and looked for information via CCTV yesterday, who is suspected to have carried a bag containing money. Then Burr traced the car's license plate and managed to get the perpetrator's data. They immediately went there. After interrogating him, it turned out that he was not the culprit. The car turned out to have been sold at a gambling place. They then went to a gambling place and asked the dealer directly. The bookie suspects that Donley and his partner are detectives. And the city immediately ordered his men to expel him. Burr, who feels he is capable of fighting the Bunder's men, finally collapses, and Donley, who sees this, intervenes and slaughters them alone. In the end, the dealer was forced to provide all the information needed. After that, they immediately looked for information that had been given by the bookie at a hotel. But it turned out to be in vain, because the owner of the hotel had been replaced. Then Donley went to the police station after getting information that the police had found the body of a woman whose characteristics were similar to Ji-Soo's. After looking at the photos, it turns out that it's not Ji-Soo, but a kidnapped victim who has gone missing 2 years ago. The next day, Burr gets information that there used to be a man who reportedly turned himself in to the police for selling his wife to Kathy. Then they went to meet the man and interrogate him. And apparently he regretted having sold his sick wife to Kathy for some money. He then gave a manual to Donley. Not long after, the man committed suicide by jumping from the top of the building. Donley went to the address in the book. It turns out that the man is Kathy's driver. Donley beats the driver to get information on where his wife is. Donley takes him to Detective Burr's house for questioning, and it turns out that Kathy knows it from CCTV footage. Kathy immediately called Donley and threatened that Kathy would kill Ji-Soo if he didn't kill the driver, because he was considered a traitor. Seeing Ji-Soo, who had been drowned by Kathy, Donley immediately took the rope and strangled the driver until he fell. Seeing that the driver was dead, Kathy didn't kill Ji-Soo, and he told Donley to return the money and exchange it with his wife. After the video call ends, Chun-sik and Burr get panicked as Donley has killed the man. But Donley casually slapped the man until he realized, which turned out to be just pressing a vein in his neck which made the man faint. Then the man told the place where Kathy always kidnapped women. Donley was confused to take the money that had been confiscated by the police, which had been used as evidence. But they also planned something to take it back by Chun-sik and Burr disguised as a prosecutor, while Donley waited outside. But their plan did not go smoothly, and their disguise was discovered by the police. Knowing that his comrade's cover had been exposed, Donley immediately blew up one of the police cars to divert attention, until they finally managed to bring the bag back. While at the headquarters, Kathy was seen beating his men for mistreating his expensive merchandise. Then Donley called Kathy and asked for a meeting place for transactions. Then Kathy ordered to come to the headquarters. And it turns out that Kathy plans to kill his wife after getting her money back. Seeing that the conditions were deserted, Ji-Soo and his friends intended to escape through the window. But only Ji-Soo managed to escape from there. Ji-Soo then stopped a taxi and told him to take her to the police. But on the way there was a traffic jam, and Ji-Soo took the initiative to get out and run because the police station was near. But when he was about to arrive, suddenly Kathy came and caught Ji-Soo again. On the other hand, Donley had arrived at Kathy's headquarters. There Donley was intercepted by Kathy's men, and Donley immediately slaughtered everyone who got in his way. Meanwhile, Chun-sik and Burr are outside and try to free the woman who is about to be sold. Back again to Donley, who continues to fight to find the whereabouts of his wife. But Kathy's men keep coming and blocking Donley. Donley managed to paralyze all of Kathy's men. Until finally a person who looks bigger than Donley arrives, who makes Donley keep getting beat up. But finally Donley can beat him. When Donley got to the room, Donley saw the window was bent and thought that his wife had run away. Donley immediately went to look for him, while Kathy's headquarters had been visited by the police after getting a report from Burr and Chun-sik. While on the way, Donley's car crossed paths with Kathy's car, who was carrying Ji-Soo. So there was a chase. In the pursuit, Donley learns his wife is inside. Donley is holding him back but still chasing Kathy's car. When Kathy's car was about to hit the road divider, Donley held it, which made the car immediately fall into a ravine. Very angry and brave, Kathy took an axe and approached Donley to try to kill him. But Donley saw it and immediately hid. And when Kathy was off guard, Donley immediately grabbed him and immediately beat him to make Kathy thrown out of the car. Kathy immediately apologized to Donley. But because Donley continued to approach, Kathy immediately took out his knife. But Donley managed to fend it off, and Donley also broke Kathy's wrist. Full of anger, Donley continued to beat Kathy's face until it broke without mercy, thus making Kathy fainted. After that, Donley went straight to Kathy's car and resuscitated Ji-Soo. Not long after, ambulances and police arrived at the scene. Then the incident was reported on television, where the police had found the headquarters of the human trafficking mafia, and the most influential person in solving the case was Donley. Long story short, the news that Donley and Chun-sik have been waiting for the most. The ship carrying king crabs has been released by the Chinese government. And in the end Donley has become the boss of the King Crab restaurant with Chunsik and Burr who core the Donley restaurant. Thank you for watching, but before leaving please make sure that you click subscribe and turn on the notification so that you can enjoy watching more videos like this.